Hey, y'all, gravity ain't they above ground? Live it. My fault. I'm just trying to get used to this new setup, so I don't know. That was on me. I thought it'd be like StreamYard didn't lock. It'll lock out your mic. Apparently, it doesn't. Who cares? We gonna talk today. There might have been something to what Trump said earlier this week. There might have been something. For those who don't know, earlier this week, he floats an idea to restart insane asylums. He might have been right. He might have been right. Because you saw the thumbnail and the title. So you're going to understand what we're going to talk about today. MAGA's insane. And they proved it. Thursday, we all know Hulk Hogan passed away. We know that he was MAGA. We saw him at the DNC. We know it's the RNC, but it was the DNC. Because it was a domain of nasty conservatives. But all jokes aside, everybody put out their condolences. Hell, we talked about it on Thursday evening. People put out their condolences. People shared that they really didn't like him as a person based on what he did outside of his wrestling career, especially with the racism. And MAGA didn't like that too tough because, of course, you're knocking somebody that they grifted off of. Somebody who made a fool of themselves at the RNC opening shirts to reveal a MAGA shirt underneath. But they didn't do just let me go attack them, folk. Nah. They decided they were going to bring up an old story. What they do best. They have begun to compare him to George Floyd. And George Floyd and what he did before that unfortunate day in May in 2020. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at some responses. And y'all are going to shake your head. Some of y'all are going to be like, par for the course. But before we do all that, let's see who's in the building. Wallow J's here. Cosmo Fury's here. Hacksign KT. Brother Torian Rain. Don P. Miss Nisi. Gamers Den. Rokamuro. SD Johnson 857. And for those who haven't said anything in live chat or the comments, hello. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do it. I think we know how we're going to do it. Again, this is a new setup for us, so forgive me. I'm not used to it. I kind of wanted to do it this way because I kind of want MAGA to come in here and explain why this is cool. We don't know. But Wallow J let us know that he's been a member for 6 months. That's a blessing. And you get this here. If it works. I guess it doesn't work. Oh well, he knows. I thought it would work. I guess it's not working. Let me try something else. Let me try this again. All right. So, who's ready to go down that goddamn rabbit hole? God, it's gonna piss me off again. But we have to make sure that you understand what's going on out here. So, let us begin. Mm, mm, mm. All right. So, like I say, we found out over here that they don't like George Floyd. We knew this. But what we didn't know was I figured there's no sign. I don't know what's going on. I don't. I'm just figuring out something new. But anyway, here we are on X. So I just typed in Hulk Hogan, George Floyd. Here's the first one. This person named Stacy is right. No, okay. Arrogant, aren't we? But all right. Hulk Hogan was recorded in 2007 saying the N-word, so liberals are celebrating his death. George Floyd held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach and robbed her, so liberals create statues of him and celebrate him. F off. Okay. We're starting already. Here we go. I was trying to think of a way to be nice with this, but we're not going to be nice today. No, we're not going to do that. We have warned you about the blue eyes white. We've told you about that many times on this platform. We have another one. Lady, I see what you stupid conservatives try to do. Y'all try to play the words versus actions game. By that logic, I'm allowed to say every J6er should be in jail. Because remember, some did some acts, some just went in there and was throwing around words and walking around. I lump you all in as criminals. Since we're going to go down that road, cool. You open the door, I am going to barrel through it. We're not going to be nice. He's a bigot and a racist, and he died as such. Because I love how y'all just only talking about him saying the N-word and you conspicuously forgot everything else. How he fell out with his kid, his oldest daughter, fell out with her. We're not going to talk about how he married a chick that's basically his daughter's age. We're not going to talk about that. That was essentially her best friend. We're not going to talk about that. I know you're going to tell me that she was an adult. That's okay. We're not going to talk about how Hogan has been saying slick things about minorities for decades. We're going to compare him to George Floyd and what he did subsequent to him losing his life in Minnesota. But these were the same people who got upset at what Carmelo Anthony did. But they want to always preach self-defense. Oh, we're going to go there today. You let your white liberal cousins put up statues of that man. Your white liberal cousins tricked y'all to keep talking about this man 5 years after he's dead. Your white liberal cousins were the same people that tricked y'all to keep thinking that black people are somehow every day bringing up George Floyd when we saw what happened. We saw the trial. We saw Chauvin get convicted, not once, but twice in 2 different courts, state and federal, and we moved on. You conservatives cannot keep that man's name out your mouths. Let me help you, stupid conservatives. But trust me, we got more. You dumb conservatives like this Stacy chick. When Hogan got booed out of the building in January, did we laugh? Yes. Did some people rejoice? Yes. Guess when we brought Hogan back up again collectively. That's correct. July 24th, 2025. Over 6 months later. Conservatives, when was the last time you brought up Hogan after that Raw incident? As a collective. That's right. July 24th, 2025. Now, I know some people are going to say, what about the incident with the black girl? How quickly y'all found out that she was black and you let that slide. Y'all moved on. Y'all had bases. Y'all had lyrics ready. Y'all had think pieces ready. Even though you're MAGA, so you really don't think. But you had think pieces ready. You let Hogan come outside with a statement that was half-assed. He probably didn't even write it. And you let it bypass. So y'all thought more of that man than we did. But you didn't care. But now that he died and it elicited feelings from people all over the world, now you want a grandstand because he ripped off his shirt at the RNC. You guys are filthy creatures. But we're going to continue. This fake ass cop, Zeke Arkham. I'll take Hulk Hogan over George Floyd any day. I swear to God, these influencer agencies and these non-thinking conservatives, boy, Trump needs to put y'all in insane asylums. I really want somebody on that side of the ideological spectrum to explain to us how you leap to George Floyd. I need that. Y'all loved Hogan so much. That man was dying in his home in Florida, and not now one of y'all said, let me start a Give, Send, Go, help him with his medical bills. But y'all want a grandstand now for George Floyd to put Hogan over. Huh. Okay. Well, you're going to hate me today because he didn't kick out. Now we continue. And just as I thought, the scumbag cop, remember now, this is a scumbag cop who said he was going to beat up a white politician because the white politician was giving him the business on X. And, his followers, even though they were on his side, they were secretly laughing at him. So he wanted to go put hands on him. Talking about we can go rent out a boxing ring and we can have it out. and said this while sitting in the middle of two white boys on their podcast. Real tough. This pheromone exuder, because that's what he is. I pissed off the right people with this post. So you just confirmed to us that none of your tweets hit on shit unless you follow, but you claim you're a leader. And then you have this idiot over here saying Hogan never cried like a bitch because he was pinned. I think you need to go look at WrestleMania 6. I think you need to go look at WrestleMania 4. I think you need to go look at WCW in 1998. This other account, Midlife Crisis Nomad. Okay, shut up. He calls himself Euro Trash. Thank you for telling everybody the truth. Hulk Hogan said a racist thing years ago and apologized. Black people cursing him to hell. George Floyd does a home invasion on a woman, points a gun at her stomach, parades golden casket and statues. Again, won't go after the white people that did that, but you know. Blame the darkies. Okay. So thank you for allowing us to feel that we were wrong in how we feel. Thank you, Euro Trash, for telling us that because he said a bad word and apologized, we should just say, chalk it up to the game. It's Hulk Hogan. Then again, you are the same people who sat up there and listened to what Mel Gibson said, laughed about it, and then you welcomed him back in after he had his little hiatus from Hollywood. And you know, y'all probably gonna be sitting in the theater with your Bibles that y'all can't read, watching Passion of the Christ too. But you know, outrage content. We get it. You have people in the wrestling community who hate Hulk Hogan because they think he was a bad person while they legitimately shed tears for George Floyd. Now, you saw the mayor of Minneapolis do that. You saw the governor be heartfelt for George Floyd. Where did you see a collection of the general public mourning this man? Let me help y'all since y'all have slow memories because, most of you conservatives took that jab anyway. We just going to call it what it is. And it's starting to rot your brains. I understand. By the way, because Trump told you to do it. But see here, this tweet right here, we're going to blow it up a little bit. Y'all shed more tears for George Floyd than we did. Y'all were on y'all's knees praying to whatever God you serve. Thank you for this content. That's what y'all did. We were more pissed at them cops. But we know y'all don't come over to this side of the tracks. You think it's over here, it's just 1350. I understand. We was like, yeah, them cops can go to hell. And we gonna make sure that cop pays and his buddies. Yeah. And they think they're so clever because they found the clip of Hogan on his reality show playing Young Jeezy. Okay. Here we go. If Hogan was not a good person, neither was George Floyd. Nobody ever said he was. But okay. Remember, conservatives called him Saint Floyd, Saint George. We didn't even go that far. But okay. Floyd had a criminal record. Hogan helped his son get a criminal record. Oh, we gonna talk. Oh, we gonna talk. That's correct. For those who don't remember, he helped Nick cover up the fact that he crippled his friend, Jonathan Arezio. I think I'm saying his last name right. He's sitting in a nursing home for the rest of his life. And Hogan and them tried to cover it up. But y'all don't want to bring that up. I see. We understand. And he wasn't doing it in white neighborhoods. If we're being fair, be fair all the way. By the way, he put another post and I cooked him under it. Maybe I'll pull it up in a minute. George Floyd has been dead for 5 years and racists still disrespect him to this day. But y'all want people to respect the dead when it comes to racist ass Hulk Hogan. Y'all don't see the hypocrisy in that? Come on. They do. They don't care. George Floyd was a private citizen who was only known publicly because of how he died. Hulk Hogan was a global icon known for what he did in life. Big difference. Correct. And the whole world found out what he did and said on tape. If we're going to be fair. Same difference. That said, Floyd's past is routinely brought up by conservatives and his last moments are frequently mocked online. He actually made some sense. I'm actually shocked. And this is something I've been seeing Delano Squires do for a year now. I think he finally figured out that most of them conservatives don't quit him, so he might as well just try to play the middle. George Floyd in hell looking for Hulk Hogan. Well, you got part of that right. Hogan's in hell. The same people who tell me that I should have cared about George Floyd tell me that Hulk Hogan was the bad person. I'm so happy that I'm not a liberal. What a weird existence. Okay. If George Floyd can get a cold casket for being so criminal, he died from it. What was he doing criminal that day when he died? But okay. Still can't tell me, but all right. What does the Hulkster get for being an upstanding, iconic patriot? Upstanding. Upstanding. We just explained how he wasn't. But okay. In a proper country, his funeral would be televised. He'd have a day, Hulk Hogan Day. I'm sure y'all going to go lobby Trump to do it. And we won't care. And we know what's going to happen. When they attempt this and it doesn't work and people don't care, they're going to bring up Juneteenth. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. People posting old tweets to suggest Hulk Hogan's entire family is racist shows how uncomfortable people are with racial truth. His true looters during the George Floyd riots were mostly black. That's actually a lie, but you let them tell it. And it's true most people view that as uncivilized. Racism is just racial truth. So he decided to put up this screenshot of Linda Hogan making statements about what happened during 2020, the summer of love, what they call it. Again, let's reminisce about that real quick. I love how they only think it was black people that were out there. It was mostly white people doing the looting. I know what the news said, but they won't tell you that. By the way, Minnesota, the police station, white person burned that month down. Wasn't us. Wasn't us putting the bricks in these cities, in these neighborhoods. Wasn't us doing it. But you know, blame the 1350. Blame them. So Linda Hogan said that Tony Khan, who runs AEW, saw it and said, "You now joined your husband in being banned from all AEW shows. Congratulations." And that was because Hogan was sitting up there talking shit. And Tony Khan was like, "Listen, I ain't got time for this. We don't need you." Which inadvertently put money out of the reach of his good friend Eric Bischoff, who wanted to work with AEW. And now, subsequently, years later, Bischoff is still sitting there shitting on AEW, but that's another subject for another day. Then somebody put this up and thought this was funny as hell. Now, I want y'all to understand. They went and created an entire AI video of George Floyd promoting some product called Comply. You have to be a special kind of retard to go create a video about George Floyd when his name wasn't even relevant. Again, we're going to bring this back up. The person you're trying to cape for in front of all our eyes lied to police, told his son to lie to police about a car accident that the son was in while high that caused his best friend to lose full mobility in their body, and then tried not to pay off. This is who y'all are protecting. By your logic, that means Hogan is a criminal. His son did time for the suggestion of his daddy. And the boy ain't been right since. Since we're going to go there, who is sending me DMs? I ain't got time. Okay, there's nothing there. Anyway, back to this. What is this? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm finna share this. That's crazy. How do you tweet this? We're gonna do that. That's crazy. And which one of y'all sent me that? I think it was Cosma. You going to hell. But you in Jersey, so that's okay. I don't even know how I can send this. Y'all watching shit in real time. Again, this is new for me. I'm trying to save this image. Oh. It's a weird image. Okay, whatever. Let me click it. Maybe I can do it like this. Let me see something. No, it's the same thing. We'll do that later. Let's go back to this work. I'll spare y'all the video. The same lowlights who were celebrating the death of Hulk Hogan celebrated the erected statues of serial criminal George Floyd. No, I don't remember anybody except white liberals celebrating it, but okay. I don't know why y'all have to tell everybody you're still Hogan fans. Nobody cares. Sad to see people shit on Hulk Hogan for past racist comments that he made over 10 years ago. The same people praise George Floyd who held a woman at gunpoint. Y'all are praising somebody who, never mind. Hulk Hogan was one of the best WWE stars, a very great personality. He was also a very genuine person. Genuine? Hogan? The man who literally sat up there and lied most of his career? This is the same man who said that he worked 400 days in a year. Okay. Mr. President, real Donald Trump, please give Hogan a state funeral. State funeral. We must honor our legends in the same way the radical left honored disgraced criminal George Floyd. So let me get this right. So because the liberals did it, you're following behind them. That's like CNN putting out a fake story and Fox News coming behind them, pause, and doing the same exact story, knowing that it's fake. Maybe Trump was onto something when he said we have to bring back insane asylums. Maybe he was onto something. What does the two have to do with one another? Hulk Hogan and George Floyd. This is a ridiculously nonsensical comparison. They're retarded. The people canceling Hulk Hogan right now, he was canceled way back in the day, and we re-canceled him on January 6th, 2025. The people canceling Hulk Hogan right now while he's not even cold in his grave and are the same people that thought a piece of ish like George Floyd should have a golden coffin. We never did that. By the way, maybe we should tell Cappy Becca how many of her favorite conservative pundits were on our side saying that Chauvin need to go to jail until they were told push the fentanyl lie, because they stupidly don't understand that books start with page 1. The idea that George Floyd deserved more hate than Hulk Hogan is a sort of deranged, psychotic opinion that opens up one to ridicule, because that's literally an impossible opinion to have unless you're fathomably racist. Just think Hulk Hogan is doing a leg drop on George Floyd's neck up in heaven right now. They're so quitty. No. See, let me help you. He would try that, and then he'd see Macho Man coming, and he'd run. He'd see Harley Race coming. He'd run. He sees Ultimate Warrior. Even though they patched up, he'd run. Piper would poke him in the eyes. Let's start getting minds of our own. Hulk Hogan and George Floyd were both POSs. I ultimately hope for the salvation of both in Jesus as for everyone, but let's stop picking favorites based on what side of the race spectrum you're on. What's wild is the person celebrating Hogan's death are the same people that were parading for George Floyd, who was way worse of a person. Where were these parades? But okay. Laugh out loud, and they want to act like moral crusaders now because a man said a bad word. I swear they forget everything else, but MAGA don't read or research. We understand. George didn't deserve to die, by the way. Just was a real shitty human. Trump was onto something when he said he needs to reopen insane asylums. Only someone whose brain isn't functioning 24 hours a day would say something this stupid. Wish people could have that same energy for Hulk. Okay. Somebody took that person's first post and just copied it. I should, you know what? I'm gonna leave the white boy alone because I was gonna go put a link to that tweet and say, "Get a bitch her credit." We're not gonna do that. I don't want to hear it, especially for a white or Mexican person. George Floyd was a laughing stock. Now Hulk Hogan, a steroid-filled junkie slash racist, is ours. Hulk Hogan heard his daughter dating a black man and had a stroke. That's crazy. Stop laughing about somebody's death. Huh. People telling you how bad of a person Hulk Hogan was made a hero out of George Floyd. We didn't make him a hero. They also argue that Chris Benoit should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Who the fuck is doing that? Oh, yeah, white people. Dealing drugs, armed robberies, murdering your family is apparently not as bad as saying mean words and apologizing for it. Okay, let's help them. Y'all's Tommy Lahren said bad words about men, and her career has not recovered since. Y'all love to cancel people that say bad words. Even if they apologize, still put them through the ringer. Well, we're not allowed to say that. That is dick. Pause. Y'all are out of line. I like it. Stop sending me messages. Y'all motherfuckers is crazy. You sent me another one? No, you didn't. Okay. The folks saying F Hulk Hogan being happy he died are the same ones to be defending George Floyd. They went across the pond to steal this. Proudly an MJ fan and a Depp head. A Depp head. Sir. This would be Dominic Mysterio if he never made it to wrestling. First off, MJ would be disappointing you for being one of his fans the way you talking. By the way, we know if MJ was still alive, he'd have been on George Floyd's side. They said them cops gotta go. They would have canceled Mike. I'm just saying. Not gonna lie, if y'all think Black Twitter wilding out with Hulk Hogan, just wait. While Twitter did all of them George Floyd and Jordan Neely memes and think we were gonna turn the other cheek, nah, my boy. Y'all just better delete y'all Twitter the day this motherfucker croaked. I think he's referring to Trump. I don't even want to be on the app that day. This app is going to be in shambles. Look how pissed they got over that South Park episode. You have George Floyd, we have Hulk Hogan. We are not the same. You're morons. Great. You just told everybody that both sides have criminals and people attached to criminals. I don't think that's something you should be bragging about. George Floyd robbed a pregnant black woman at gunpoint. Y'all worship at his fentanyl stuff course, but Hulk Hogan said mean words. Another one took somebody's tweet. They just said, okay, let me put the N word in there. Man, same account saying Hulk Hogan was trash, think George Floyd was a role model. No, you over there on that side think he's a role model. And it goes on and on and on. Look at this. They hate. They got George Floyd on their mind so much. They talking about exhuming his body and his coffin just so they could put Hogan in a golden coffin. But I yet have to see any of you MAGA retards go outside and actually pay for said casket. Yet to see it. Maybe you'll do it soon. I might be just jumping the gun. Look, another person took the same tweet and just changed it around. Still want to tell me that Con Inc. ain't a beautiful thing? Another one. Another one. And they can't get no traction. Hogan, racist ass Hogan job to the Grim Reaper. God, dog. Whoo. Oh yeah, Joey Swole. Yeah, he went to the gym like this. Why? Ain't this the dude that's always talking about people going to the gym, doing things to grab attention so they can make videos about it? You could have just wore a Hogan shirt. This fool really went into the locker room to dress up like this for a video. I ain't calling Joey Swole MAGA. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What is this? Hulk Hogan was a superstar, but his wife was not well lived. I hope yours is.
And what that allows you to do is when somebody passes away, to contextualize their life as a life well lived, in a sense. And you normally say that when people have had a positive effect on their community, their family, and their friends. It angers me that I cannot say that about Hulk Hogan. You cannot say a life well lived. Hulk Hogan was a hero to me as a child. A hero. You watch wrestling boom of the golden age of the WWF in the 1980s. And he was a larger than life figure. He was a superhero. You hear the theme, Real American, you know the Hulkster's coming down the aisle, gonna rip the shirt, gonna do this, all of that stuff. But as you got older,
by the way, he lost the Ultimate Warrior.
you start to learn some truths. Hulk Hogan was, at one point in his life, at least from what we heard on that tape, a virulent racist, consistently a selfish, self-centered performer. As a wrestler, he was someone who tried to undermine the union of professional wrestlers. It's a story that came out in the Vince McMahon documentary that the wrestlers were thinking of unionizing. Wrestling is a grueling, taxing profession. And Hulk got wind of it, and he went and told Vince McMahon on the rest of the wrestlers because Hulk Hogan was a company man. The more I learned about him, the more I realized that Hulk Hogan's life was not a life well lived. I'm sure that there are people who love him. I'm sure that the wrestling community will mourn. But I'm mad at him even more now that I can't remember him fondly. And this is a reminder to people that as you are living your life from day to day, no matter what you accomplish, no matter what you are able to accrue, what type of person you are as far as how you're lauded or thought of, that one day people will remember you for how you treated them. They will remember you for the space that you took up inside of their life. They will remember you for the way you looked at the rest of humanity. And I can hope for you guys that when you die, people say that your life was well lived, because Hulk Hogan's wasn't.
MAGA, I maybe y'all still have this up. Maybe you don't. Where was y'all's post when Hogan got kicked out of the WWE Hall of Fame after that tape came out. By the way, that was a Vince decision. Why aren't y'all giving Vince McMahon saying how he woke? I'm just asking for friends. Yes, I know they put him back because the stink went down. So they put him back. Yeah. No answers? None? Oh, okay. You always got lyrics. Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. What this be? Family drama. This is on the Daily Record over there in the UK. Let's see what they say. Hogan's family drama sadly never got resolved before his death. The late wrestler shared his two kids, Brooke and Nick, with his ex-wife Linda. However, their daughter is now estranged for both her parents because they're both racist. But we'll be nice. It's Saturday. This is the one thing I'll be nice about. We'll dial them down to the level of bigot. We know Hogan's a racist. We'll throw them a little bit of chum. They hungry. The family rose to another level of fame when they starred together on their VH1 reality show Hogan Knows Best, which aired for 4 seasons between 2005 and 2007. Hogan was married to Linda for 24 years before she filed for divorce 1 month after the reality show came to an end. At the time, she cited infidelities and also accused the wrestler of having an affair with one of their daughter's friends, which he ended up marrying. And she married one of her son's friends, so another subject for another day. The tension in the Hogan family was brought back to the spotlight this year after tearful Linda shared an emotional video to her Instagram in March. She said in the clip, "It's been 15 however long years since I left Hulk Hogan, and my family is the worst mess." Linda explained she was now estranged from Brooke, and their rift happened after she got into a fight with her father around 8 years ago. She said, "Brooke doesn't talk to us. She's had twins. She got married. She didn't tell us. She had a huge fight with Terry. I don't know how that reflected onto me, but she cut me out too." The 65-year-old added, "I have to be honest about what I went through in my marriage with Terry as Hulk Hogan, what it entailed, and what it has cost over the years." Hmm. Sucks to be you. Anyway, we continue. So that was Van Lathan's statement. The white man comparing Hulk Hogan to Check's notes. George Floyd. Let's see how they got there. How come everyone who dies has their low light cited all over the internet except for George Floyd? Well, y'all literally been doing that, but okay. The same people calling Hogan a racist today said it was inexcusable to bring up that Floyd was convicted for aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon when he died. So we've got to the level now of bringing up criminal convictions when somebody dies. Now we get to gauge if that's right or wrong. Okay. 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 I I I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What the hell is this? Somebody filed a Freedom of Information Act on Hogan for what? They want his stuff? They want his external storage media? What the hell is going on? This was filed the day he died. Maybe this is, I guess, for the insurance, maybe? Huh. This is about the sex tape. By the way, they're his son Nick just got probation again. You know, he a stand-up guy. Right. Now they're gonna say that's his kid. Right. Okay. All right. By the way, we also found out why MAGA loves Hulk Hogan so much. When he was going through the Gawker thing, guess who was helping him? You may know this person, you may not when you see their face. We keep telling y'all everything is connected. Tabernacle. Here we go. Nobody rioted over George Floyd, sir. I was home when that happened. So try again. Thank you so much. But again, you're gonna come talk to us about rioting when y'all had your cousins out there rioting too. But you won't go talk to them. You know what the $4 billion in damage was? That was people sitting home because they were locked down. That was what the damage was for. I understand. You fake ass white people want to come around here and try to tell us how to feel. Your man was a racist. Deal with that. Y'all have it in your heads that you think that we are celebrating George Floyd. We all got pictures of him next to Jesus. Y'all got pictures of him next to Jesus because y'all are struggling for content. Y'all are struggling to have some big account recognize your tweet or your social media post. Y'all suck. Now back to the learning. Peter Thiel, yes, Peter Thiel was helping Hogan with the Gawker lawsuit. The same Peter Thiel that MAGA is going after right now because they're saying he's the one puppeteering Trump to make all these bad decisions. Y'all remember what I tell you all the time. You think the rabbit hole is deep? It's deep. But, you know, they're not going to go that far. Surface level thinking from these people. Straight service left. And the fact y'all sat up there and compared him to George Floyd, that's crazy. George Floyd. Okay. Sure. Oh boy. The hell is this? You really ask Grok if you're racist? You hold on. Okay. You asked Elon's AI if you're a racist. Whew. I haven't had some people that are mutuals on here on X give some of these white people that work when you're trying to bring up Hogan. And they couldn't even understand why they're not going to sit up there and mourn him. They ran Chelsea Green, a wrestler who happens to be biracial, off social media because she put up a post about how Hogan inspired her. And they got upset. I ain't see MAGA go cover for her. I ain't see that. If you saw the tribute they did last night on SmackDown, as I said, before that aired, all the white wrestlers were going to be up front. I just said that as a joke. Somebody tried to call me racist on it. And lo and behold, when it got on TV, all the white wrestlers were on there. And what did some of these people on X do? They took the pictures of whatever they could get and just highlighted all the minorities that were making faces or not showing concern. I find it funny that they want us to care about this man when we don't even be thinking about them, but they want us to think about him. I'm just saying. Mm. Hmm. Julia looked at it. She was like, "Can I go and just go do my backstage segment now?" Jacob Fatu was like, "Eh." Solo's face was the face of the night. I was dying. Then like Matt Walsh up there putting up posts talking about, was it Matt Walsh? One of them talking about the divide. No, I think it was Jack Probiotic. Putting up a post talking about the divide between the 80s and 90s and Gen Z. I'm like, motherfucker, we don't care. We really don't. Most of us did not get into wrestling because of Hogan. That was the other lie they told, that most people got into wrestling because of Hogan. What? And the fact you said that with a straight face. And there it is. It died on Thursday. It died on January 6th of this year. It died the day of the RNC when he was featured. It died in July when Brock Lesnar choked his ass out. Hulkamania died when he went to WCW in 1994 because he couldn't use the trademark. It died when he turned heel in 96. But okay. It died when he lost the Ultimate Warrior in WrestleMania 6. It died when he lost to Yokozuna. It died when he lost to The Undertaker in 91. Or was it 1990? One of them years. When he beat him at Survivor Series. So 91. Hulkamania seems to have died a lot. They don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities. We remember the night they pulled that. It lasted about a month. Now they want to bring it back up a year later. These people are pathetic. Oh, a real American who hides the fact that his son did a crime, and instead of teaching him accountability and facing the music, tried to hide it. That's a real American. Okay. Okay. Not y'all's daddy. So your daddy, wait a minute, your daddy don't epitomize America? A motherfucker you met a year before he died. Oh Lord. The celebrity worship culture is crazy. Wait, what? You ain't hear nothing. Ain't this a bitch? Hold on. Now y'all told me y'all didn't hear nothing. How's that possible? That's crazy. It said it's working.
We lost an American icon yesterday, and his name is Hulk Hogan. And I'm just going to say it right now. Hulkamania will never die as long as the Hulkamaniacs keep it alive forever. Hulkamania forever. And last year had the opportunity and just one of the top 10 moments of my entire life to be there with my family at Hulk Hogan's final gift to America, the birth of Trumpamania. And we've got a huge obituary up for him on humanevents.com that I want everyone to go read. It was written by the Raw Egg Nationalist. Hulk Hogan's last great gift to the American people was to turn Hulkamania into Trumpamania, last year at the RNC. Hogan was a patriot. You want to ask what an American is? That's an American. That's a real American. We got Kevin Posobiec here riding side saddle because, Kevin, you were right there with me when he walked out.
I sure was, Jack. And we were also there at Madison Square Garden when he gave his final send-off for there, too, as well. And listen, people talk about, you know, your last guest having like a Catholic spiritual father or patron saint, this and that. Like, Hogan was my American father. He was my American spiritual father, brother. He was my hero from growing up way back when we used to wrestle in the hay barn. And
I was kicked out. Kevin could never get me down for the 1, 2, 3. Never ever.
That's right.
Well, at least you could still kick out. Hogan can't.
There with my family here riding side saddle because Kevin.
Oh, and listen, people talk about, you know, your last guest having like a Catholic spiritual father or patron saint, this and that. Like, Hogan was my American father. He was my American spiritual father, brother. He was my hero from growing up way back when we used to wrestle.
So not Charles Pastor, Hogan. Okay.
Wrestle in the hay barn. And
I was kicked out. Kevin could never get me down for the 1, 2, 3. Never ever.
That's right. And we were jumping. I do remember the one time when we're talking.
I do remember the one time
they can't even get synced together.
Where I put you in the razor's edge off of the top of the hay bales, and then you
the hay bales. Okay.
Went down so far that we couldn't find you because we were calling you and you weren't answering for like a minute. that was Mom, if you're watching, that didn't happen. That
they're not even funny. All right. I didn't realize they were joking. I was waiting for the punchline. That's on me. I mean, and then we have this here. They're saying that we should just skip this because he said, you know, I'm sorry. Huh. But wait a minute, ain't y'all conservatives the same ones that say you should never apologize? Hmm. 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 Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, she married a hockey player and they had twins. And like we saw in that post that Linda Hogan wrote, her daughter don't talk to her. Now, like I said, Nick just got caught for doing something again. He got probation. So, you know, they're telling us we should get over this. Okay, fine. Since you guys wanted to bring up George Floyd, I can't get over the fact that Hogan and his son crippled somebody. I can't get over that. And then tried to hide it. I can't get over that. The same guy who said all this was trying to pimp his daughter out during her singing phase, which was highlighted on the reality show, to Sky Storchin him. Yeah. But okay. Must suck. And these are the same people that say that they're the morality in the country. By the way, since y'all have to bring him up so much, y'all's MLK would not have found this particularly funny and would have judged him by his skin color and his character. Hmm. Okay. But, you know, you out of line. Who did this? Y'all are out of line. I fuck with it though. I guess it's time before we hit that old dusty trail. We might as well eulogize Hogan. Fam, we have to eulogize Hogan. So everybody that's here, before we go, we have to ask you to do something for us one time. I know y'all not gonna like it too tough, but I respect me on this beautiful Saturday because I usually don't stream on Saturdays, especially in the evening. I'm gonna ask y'all to, if you're home, rise up. If you're in the car, pull over because I don't want y'all to crash while you do this. I want y'all to go together and just, you know, I want everybody to say amen when you're ready for this. Let me know if you're ready. Just type amen in the chat. Once we get about 5 amens, then, you know, we'll eulogize Hogan and then we'll get up out of here. All right, let's eulogize Hogan.
Hogan done, man. It's time to hit the function. Eat vitamins, hey. Listen to instruction. All the steroids up his heart with no.
Damn, this thing's. I don't like this.
Listen to the song.
I don't like this app. I don't know why it's screwing up. Let me see if I can figure this out. Did y'all even hear it? Because I know this thing is like making this thing is like not working. Let's try this again. Yeah, it's definitely not working. All right. You know what I'll do? We'll just do it like this. I don't know why it's not working. I don't like this. So we'll do this. Let me try this again. Y'all can go look that up later. I don't know why it's not working. My eulogy for Hogan is not working. And I don't like that. You know what I could do real fast? I'm going to download it. That's what I'm going to do. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to download it. Shit. But anyway, how y'all doing today? I always forget to ask that. I always forget to ask that. How y'all doing today? Are y'all staying cool? I know these temperatures are getting crazy. All right. Let's see if we could try this again. Okay. Let's try this. To share audio, share a tab or screen. I could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Okay, I might have figured this out. We could do that. So it's gonna be the screen shit. Let me see. All right, I think we might have figured it out. Okay, I think we figured it out. Let's see if this will work. Eulogize Hogan. I don't know if that worked, but we'll play it again. I don't know. This guy named Wave Melter put that up there and pissed white people off. It didn't work. Okay, it didn't work. I put it in the chat. Y'all can go listen to it later. I don't give a damn. FBA Queen says she's moving. I know it got hotter because Hogan in the dirt now, so maybe you're going to a cooler climate. But like I say, what we'll do is, I think that's the original tweet where it's on there. So it should be like it should be on there. It's like the third one down or some shit. So y'all can listen to it. But like I said, Hogan dead. Everybody gotta die sometime. People die every day, B. You'll be all right. So we're gonna get up out of here. I think this will probably be the first and last time I use straight YouTube for setup like this. We'll just go back to StreamYard and the phone. But I just find it strange that they had to bring up George Floyd to make Hulk Hogan look better. Like that man wasn't wrestling for 40 years. They could have just easily put up matches. Or they could have put up his Hall of Fame speech. They could have done that. They compared him to George Floyd. Okay, sure. The same amount of coat. I just hope y'all know when certain people kick the bucket, it's going to be worse. But anyway, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. We got some uploaded content coming for you in the next few days. And definitely. I know I was supposed to tell y'all about what was going on with me in my life, but we will do that Monday. We got a lot of content coming for you. So we will have a morning live stream on Monday. And then, we'll explain everything. But y'all take care of the rest of your evening. Y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.